believe we are live streaming, which is a good thing. I'm going to show you the date, time, and day here in a second, but it should upload with the date, time, and day. I'm not sure. First time I've done this on a tablet. Sit tight, folks. So let me see if I can get this behind here. So there's the date, time, and day on my phone. If you can see that, I'll say it's 7:55. It's Saturday, March, I think 9th. Let me check the date to be specific here. Where are we? March. Yes, it's the 9th. It's actually daylight savings time. There it is on the calendar. Where are we? There it is. March 9th, right there. That's the full calendar. So I was making a video um, to let people know what was going on here, and so much has happened in the 13 months I've lived here. What this live stream is basically about, and the next bunch of live streams is going to be basically me covering my butt to show where I'm at. Now I do have a security system. Let me try to get it up here for you. Hold on here. Caught up. There we go. So I do have a security system here. You can see most of that is looking outside my building. It covers the whole front of the building and across the street. So finger is going up the street toward Redner's. If you're from Pottstown, you know where Redner's is. That one is going toward Washington Street. That is actually the mosque right there. So this one goes up toward the weed shop. This one goes down toward Washington and the library. This one is all out front. Parking right here, across the street. And a lot of the other stuff is covered by cameras. This is my kitchen. I know it's hard to see. That's my hallway going out my front door, which I have a camera at the bottom of the door looking out into the hallway. I'm not going to show you that one. You can watch my videos if you want to see the content. And this one is me. I don't know if you can see me waving, but that is the camera that's covering me. And they are audio and video capability. So I'm covered at all times. But again, the live stream is just to show um, my whereabouts, to cover my ass. The neighbors had the cops here the other night trying to say they either heard or smelled gas or fire. I don't know what they were up to, but they were trying to set me up. And they do it so childishly. The cop didn't even knock on my door. He just, listened, looked around, and then left. So I don't know what he was after, but never found out because, like I said, he probably thought, these people are nuts. I'm leaving. I'm not going to bother this guy, which I'm glad because I'm blind, multiply disabled, have multiple disabilities, asthma, liver disease, heart disease, edema. If you're familiar with diabetics, they get edema in their legs or kidneys shut down. I have just all kinds of stuff. A hernia. I've got two lower crust vertebrae, um, pinched sciatic nerve. I've got just all kinds of diabetic retinopathy. I have diabetic neuropathy also. That's where the nerves die in your fingers and toes and hands and legs. Um, and I could go on and on. I'm going to stop right there for now. It's really nobody's business but my own. But then you got to babysit these retarded 3-year-olds in the building who want to turn this into a crack den instead of a home. You know what I mean? They want to run a 24-hour a day, bikers clubhouse instead of have it as a home. We got the apartment for people when they're not fist fighting, cutting each other with knives and having the ambulance and cops here for the past 12 months. Now they have a dog and they're letting it poop and pee on plastic and they're dragging 60 pounds of dog fecal matter out the back door, which we're on the third floor, and they chuck it over the fire escape like a dead body, which, it's getting all over. It has to be. The dog's peeing and pooping on plastic. It's got to be rolling and getting in cracks and, all over the whatever room they have him in. He was barking excessively. Now they have him stuffed in a back room, which is animal cruelty. He's not getting outside like he should. They're doing nothing but cooping him up in a back room. That's animal cruelty. So I'm debating heavily whether to call the SPCA just for the fecal matter alone. I don't know if people are aware of it, but the EPA likens dog shit to an oil spill. It's that hazardous and toxic. It has 9 different viruses in it and parasites. Ringworm, heartworm, tapeworm. There's all kinds of stuff in dog poop, and it can be deadly. Some of it. Um, that's why they tell you don't let a dog lick your face. In its spit alone, there's parasites and just all kinds of funk. It licks its own butt. I mean, come on. So anyway, so anyway, it's probably stepping in its pee and poop, and it's just disgusting. I never met people like this. You walk your dog 3 times a day, then you won't need plastic. You train him to bark when he needs to go out or come up to you, hey, and dance around. Hey, yo, I'm holding it in. You got to take me for a walk. You know, you train a dog to do that. You got to go potty. You ask him, and he'll get to know the words. You train him. You know what I mean? Then give him a treat when he does go outside. That good boy. That lets him know. Ooh, if I go outside and poop, I'll get a treat. If I do it inside, I don't get a treat. You get what I'm saying? But you train him. So they're not doing that. They're just letting him shit up the apartment. And summer's coming. It's going to stink like a dead body over there. Anyhow, I've been reporting them to the landlord since the first week I moved in. They would hold fist fights in the hallway every 2 days, 3 days. It got to the point so bad that I think they were going to throw them out or throw them in jail if it happened one more time. So that has stopped. But they're looking for all kind of other ways to get under your skin, to bother you, to harass, to annoy, you get the point. Now the downstairs people were running some kind of daycare because one minute there's one kid stomping around like the Incredible Hulk, then there's 6. So I've been recording that and sending the videos to the landlord and telling them that I'm going to, report them to children and youth because there's pot smoking going on downstairs. And now, before all you people jump on me about weed and legalities and this and that and the other, listen, I don't give alcohol to a kid. I certainly wouldn't sit here drunk off my ass around a child. Kids learn what they see. That's number one. Number two, you don't give illegal substances to kids, let alone illegal substances. Right now in Pennsylvania, it's not legal. They're lenient on weed, but they're not. It's not 100% legal. Now, with that said, I am a staunch I believer that weed should be legalized. Not some kid smoking pot around a little underdeveloped brain, heart, and lungs all day long. So them kids are breathing that in. How do I know? Because I can smell it up here. So I know they're getting large whiffs of it. Some of them are toddlers, some of them are in cribs, some of them are 4 years old. I mean, they're all breathing that in downstairs. From what I hear, she has had like 2 or 3 kids. That's my one pet peeve with them. The other is they must have friends or relatives that come to visit them, and they all have kids. Can you imagine like 5 kids downstairs wrestling and throwing hissy fits and screaming at the top of their lungs and throwing each other against the walls, kicking the walls? That's what it's like 2, 3, 4 times a day. I thought she was running a daycare when it first started happening. I'm like, what the hell is going on down there? So I started reporting that to the landlord as excessive noise. It doesn't need to be. And these people had the audacity to call the cops on me because I was turning up my TV. Well, of course I was. I was trying to drown Jews out so I could hear my TV. So, and on and on and on. You get what I'm saying. So I'm sitting here with my TV on level 4, barely able to hear it. I do own Bluetooth speaker headphones, and I also own one pair that is wire. You can plug it in. Shouldn't have to sit here all day with headphones sweating up my ears because my neighbors are loud, and they call the cops on you for a loud TV when they're the ones making all the noise. It's ridiculous. So I've decided in my brain, I'm going to leave my TV on level 4, record myself live stream, and the noise from downstairs and the noise from upstairs. Now, if anybody can hear me downstairs, that means they're eavesdropping at my door like they usually do, because I'm not that loud. I'm talking into a microphone, you know what I mean? Or into a camera phone, whatever. So I'm not being loud. I'm not screaming, ranting, raving, hitting the walls. I don't have a picket sign out front. I mean, I'm being an adult here. Uh, Again, when they're usually spying on you, they turn on their bathroom exhaust. You can hear it's loud. It's loud. It does cover a lot of the noise, but they use it to creep up and down the steps to try to record me at the top of the steps, and of course gather intel. They're there for several reasons: to set me up, make it look like I'm the problem, and also hear what I'm saying so they can improve their lives. That's basically what people do. Nosy people like that. The difference between me and them is anybody can buy a door chime and stick it on the outside of their door, whether you're in an apartment building or out. It's your home. For safety reasons, you can have a door chime plopped on your door, and that's what I do. I have a homemade white man's door chime on my door. What I did was I bought a garage thing that bing bongs when somebody pulls into your driveway, and I attach that to the outside of my door. So if somebody comes up to my door, I get a notification in my living room: bing bong, somebody's at my door, because I'm blind and I want to know who's at my door. Secondly, I dropped a camera underneath to video and audio tape who's at my door. I would like to know what's going on outside my door. Now, for months now, they've come up to my door, talked about drugs, buying and selling. They've talked about guns. Where's my gun at? They've talked about breaking into my apartment. Oh, that them locks is old. I can break into them. I can punch through them easy. I'm like, what? And I've sent all these videos to Carson Valley, Children's Aid of Norristown, and my landlord. What's being done about it? Well, here we are, month 13. So they've had a space heater downstairs last week. They set off the smoke alarms. The fireman must have took it thinking it was a defective one or something, because that disappeared. Now I have no smoke alarm outside my door in case there is a fire. They were burning a space heater downstairs. And if anybody has been around space heaters knows when they run out of fuel, whether it's kerosene or lamp oil, they give off a hellacious stink and a lot of black smoke. Well, that's must have been what happened, because it set the smoke alarms off a week ago, and I reported it twice to the landlord, and here we are with no smoke alarm. So yeah, if we die in a fire, it's because of these people downstairs and upstairs. They're animals. They're barnyard animals. That's colostomy bags. That's what I call them. So here is the live stream to let you know I'm not provoking them. I'm not going to their door. I'm not yelling down the steps at them. They've threatened me numerous times, came to my door threatening me. They yelled up the steps twice. I have these videos in my YouTube playlist. Uh, I'm gonna come up there and smack the shit out of you. I'm gonna do this. Because I tried yelling. I tried saying I'm calling the cops. I tried yelling I'm calling the landlord. It doesn't work. They're animals. They're freaking pigs in a pigsty. That's the way they live. They've given downstairs. Have given the whole building bed bugs. They did come to Sprayford. The bed bug guy was up here complaining about them. I have this video also. You can hear him saying the kids are laying on dirty mattresses downstairs. The whole place is filthy. It stinks. He said, "You have the cleanest apartment in here." So what does that tell you? It speaks volumes when a black man is talking bad about another black family downstairs. The bug guy was black, and I have him on camera putting them down. So how nasty they are. I say that to say this: it's not about race, creed, or color. It's about character. They're nasty. They're filthy people, and it's not color. I know white people that are just as nasty. The point is, whether they were white or black. I'd still be complaining because none of this noise should be going on. Now, right now, it looks like they're letting the kids play outside. There's a kid on a bicycle that keeps running around back and forth in front of my cameras, which is good. You know, that's called nurturing. You know, you take your kids to the park, you take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese, throw them in the shit pit. You take your kid. I call the ball pit the shit pit because they found dirty diapers in there with fecal matter and pee in it. But you take them out, you let them run all that energy off, and then you put them to bed at 7 o'clock at night, not midnight like they've been doing. Kids learn what they see, and they also learn what they're allowed to get away with. If you keep a kid up till midnight, he's going to want to stay up to midnight every night, including when he goes to school. You're not going to be able to put that kid down at 7 o'clock for school the next day. In other words, even the Bible says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and it'll never depart from him." That's exact. It doesn't say beat the kid senseless with a rod. It just says to train the kid, and that's what's not being done here. I've heard these kids screaming at midnight. I have videos of them screaming at midnight. What am I saying? There he is now. I can hear him thumping downstairs. Little Hulkamania just came in, or he's been down there, and they just let him run. There are some kids riding up and down the sidewalk here on bikes, and they're about that age. They look like the ones that were down there this afternoon raising hell, wrestling, and I love kids. Don't get me wrong, but if you're not being a parent, it's not the kid's fault. It's the parents. It's the freaking parents. That's what children and youth is for, to teach you how to be a parent. It puts you through some classes. Children and Youth 101. You don't do drugs around your kids. There you go. That's first and foremost. You want to get high, or you want to get your groove on, Stella. You run a motel room and get a babysitter for your kids. Send them over to grandmom's for the night. Now I can hear grown-ups talking downstairs. I don't know if that was in the hallway or just downstairs, but I'm waiting for him to try to set me up. That's why I'm live streaming this one. I'm waiting for the cop to show back up tonight because they're going to try to say I did this, or I had loud music, or I'm yelling obscenities, or the only thing I yell at the top of my lungs is "Here comes the cops," or "I'm calling the landlord." That's the only two things I yell, and I have to be really stressed out to do that. They've caused me chest pain so many times. I do have a. Let me show you that too. Where is it? Let me put a light on here also. Let's light on the subject. I'm 60 years old. I have a life alert button. Let me see if I can get that in front of the camera. There's my life alert button. You push that, the cops come, the ambulance comes, and so does the fire company. And it is blinking. So matter of fact, I should charge this. I'll throw it on the charger. I don't think I charged it about 2 days ago. I think it was. There she goes. So, again, I can hardly walk. Sometimes I walk with crutch canes. I had to walk with them for like probably over 6 months when I first got this diabetic neuropathy. I was on metformin at the time, and it was just causing all kind of problems, so they took me off of that. But I'm still getting residual effects from it. My legs will swell up. I can barely move some days. And then I got to play, building superintendent or babysitter with these grown children and their children every other day. No, no, scratch that. Every day. It's one or other or all of them at once. Like I said today, I already got 2 videos of them screaming and hollering. It sounded like they were running a daycare downstairs. I just get tired of it. You can't take a nap. I'm old, and I'm not saying, look, I was young once, and don't get me wrong. When I'm telling you all this stuff, I was worse. I was worse than any one of them downstairs as a kid. I used to headbutt kids off of swing sets. They didn't know what ADHD was back then or bipolar disorder. They had no clue. I was wound up like a clock. I was like a pinball machine. Bing, 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 bing. I was all over the map as a kid. I had no parental guidance whatsoever. I had no structure. I had no nothing no father figure, no raising me. I was a wild child. I might as well have been raised by wolves. And that is no lie nor an exaggeration. When my aunt came to pick me up from my real mother's house, she said she had to bathe me 6 times to get me clean. That's how dirty I was. My mother did not take care of her kids, most of them, the older ones. Now, I'm not here to rant and rave about my mom or put her down. What's done is done. She made her bed. That's in the past. But what I'm saying is just the facts. That's how bad it was at my house growing up to about age 6. And I think it was the school that eventually turned her into children and youth and got me away from her. And my aunt became my legal guardian, which wasn't much better. They were 7 cases of beer and 2.5 gallons of whiskey type people. They were country and western type people. They like country and western, Loretta Lynn, but they were drinkers. Whew, they were drinkers. So it was kind of like, my belly was full, my clothes were clean, but the atmosphere was still out of the frying pan into the fire. So I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is I grew, learned, matured. I often tell people I didn't know what a principal was until I was 35, and it's true. I thought it was the head of a high school. Now, principles, morals, values, honor, integrity, standards. You understand what I mean? Are learned over time if you so choose to learn something like that. So ethics, you know what I mean? They're a learned thing. They're not just automatically, I know what ethics are. You know what I mean? Didn't have any of that growing up. Now I do. So it's a growing process. It's a learning process. But my thing is if you spread your legs and you make that baby, you're responsible until he's 18. What he turns out to be, you caused. Some of it's nurture, a lot of it's nature, but most of it's nurture. You get what I'm saying? You turned him into the monster he is. So you can either turn out a monster, a drug dealer, or a criminal, or you can raise him up the right way. And if you're going to do that, you just got to train him like a puppy. You got to train him like an animal. You got to train him like a horse. You got to train him like a child. Start when they're young. To have integrity, have honor. Honor your mother and father. Honor police officers. Honor your school teachers. You don't call your school teacher a bitch and get expelled. If you do, there's consequences. You know what I mean? You don't go to school fist fighting everybody. You don't go to school fist fighting your teachers. I wasn't taught none of that. Respect. And I'm certainly not trying to get these people kicked out of here. What I'm trying to say through all these videos and everything I'm putting down on in live streams is if you give no respect, you sure in hell ain't getting none. Respect is not automatically given to you because you're going to come up and smack the shit out of me. I don't give a fuck how many times you smack the shit out of me. I'm going to get up off the floor saying the same thing. You're a degenerate and I'm going to fucking call the landlord and the cops on you. I'm just hard-headed like that. So they're not going to win. In other words, they're not by threatening or intimidating. That's not going to work. What I'm saying is, if you respect me, show me respect as an older person and as a human being, you'll get truckloads of respect back. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't hate Jewish people. I don't hate Chinese people. I certainly don't hate black people. 3/4 of my family are black, Hispanic, French Canadian, German, Italian, Irish, Indian, Native American. I could go on and on. I don't think. I think the only two races we don't have. Well, I mean, there's other races like Filipino, and I categorize them with Chinese. In other words, Orientals, I should say. Korean. I don't have Koreans in my family that I know of. I'm certainly not prejudiced enough to go, I wouldn't marry into them Korean families or Filipinos. I'm not like that. I would, some of the most beautiful women in the world come from the Orient or Kazakhstan, different places like that. I'm not prejudiced when it comes to different cultures, which, by the way, we don't have any Kazakhstanis in our family tree that I know of. Or Ukrainians, or some of them women are beautiful. I wouldn't not marry one of them if I was, I'm not one of them type. Oh, I don't marry outside my own race. That's what that's ridiculous. You marry who you love. I don't care if they're green. You know what I mean? Anyway, point being, this isn't about um, race, creed, or color. This is about character. This is about ethics, morals, values, principles, honor, integrity, respect. And that's what I'm trying to develop a relationship with everybody around me. If you show respect, if you act like an adult, I'll treat you like one. If you act like a 2-year old, here comes the cops, and the the landlord's got to get notified. And that's the adults I'm talking about, not the children. Again, the children learn what they see, or they're allowed to get away with. It's never a child's fault. It's always the parents. A child should have structure. He should have, even before school, they should have structure. You know what I mean? Learn their ABCs, learn, through cartoon learning, whatever you can dish up, doing puzzles and coloring. And that kid should have so much to do during the day. He's tired by 7 o'clock at night. He wants to go to bed, you know? But there's been many nights here, that it's midnight, and yeah, you got romper room going on downstairs, and the parents sitting around the living room smoking weed out of a bong. I mean, come on, people, what is wrong with you? No, I'm not saying that's an over exaggeration. When I first got here, it was weed, weed, weed 3 times a day. Now it's occasionally. If I'm being honest, it's occasionally, but it's still happening. It's sad. If you own a vehicle, go out and smoke it in your car and then come back in. That way your kids aren't breathing it in, or your neighbors ain't smelling it going, what the F, man? I don't smoke weed. I don't want to be around it. And I've been many things. I've been a drug addict, a drunk for years, and I don't want that no more in my life. I don't want to see it, taste it, touch it, feel it, or smell it. That's why I'm not hanging in a bar room right now drinking soda. Don't want to be around drunks. They're assholes. Believe me, I met enough of them. I was one of them. So, and usually it's alcohol fueled. The more asshole juice you put in an asshole, the more obnoxious he becomes. And I'm not, that's a blanket statement. I don't mean to sound it like they're all like that or everybody's like that. No, there are people out there that go out, actually have a good time, and go home and cause no trouble at all. You know, very few. I met few that are like that. And I mean, every time they go out. But the people I hung with, which were usually bikers, because I look like a biker, I'm tattooed all over. Well, you draw the type of people that you look like or emanate, I guess. So if you look like a hippie, well, you're going to be surrounded by hippies. If you look like a drunk, well, you're going to be surrounded by drunks. If you look like a biker, there you go. I don't think I've ever owned a motorcycle in my life. I was a sidewalk biker, but I look like one. Long hair, big beard. I was more of a hippie, but I looked biker-ish. Growing up in the 70s, I was more hippie-ish than I was biker-ish, which is surprising because I don't like weed. I would give away a pound of weed. Hash now, I might smoke that once in a while. It's a different kind of high. But good hash, we haven't seen that since probably maybe early 80s, late 70s. I haven't seen hash in the United States. I don't know if they even still. It's still around. That's how far back I'm going. I haven't smoked that since high school. Maybe fresh out of high school. I quit school when I was 16. So, but I furthered my education with the GED and all that other stuff. But my point is, I'm not a druggie. Even back when I was in my addictions, I was a weekend warrior. When the money ran out, I went home. I didn't go out stealing or robbing or you know swindling somebody out of their hard-earned paycheck to get high. I was lucky that way. I'm not saying it couldn't have happened. I'm just saying, I knew when it was, the fat lady sang, okay, it's over, go home. That's not to say drugs and alcohol didn't cause problems in my home, in my relationships, my jobs. Absolutely it did. That's what makes me an addict. Well, that and the addictive personality I have, I can get addicted to Fritos. I mean, so I abstain. Abstinence is best. You don't touch it, you don't have the troubles that go with it. Which means I live by a standard. I don't want to see it, taste it, touch it, feel it, smell it. Don't bring it to my doorstep. I will call the cops on you. That's just the way I live. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to be friends with me. Just go away then. And my life will actually get better 10 seconds after you turn around and walk away. So it's a credo, a code, whatever you want to call it, a standard that I live by. I don't want druggies around me. And when I see abuse happening, when they're smoking around kids, that makes it 100 times worse. I just want to, scream like the Hulk. Roar! What are you thinking? You know what I mean? Well, they're in the other room with the door shut, but I can smell it up here. What do you think? It's not going under their door, or they can't smell it? Your whole apartment probably. Well, it did. I walk past their door all the time. I used to smell incense. Smell like a Catholic church. If I could smell it halfway down the third floor steps to the second floor, I'm sure your kids can smell it. And I'm sure that THC is seeping into their hair, their lungs, their clothes. I mean, are you fucking retarded? Excuse my language, but oh my God, grow up. Okay, they're going to legalize it. Well, cigarettes are legal. I'm not allowed to smoke in a restaurant. You see that? Alcohol's legal. You can't walk up the street or drive with a bottle of beer in your hand. See, there's rules. There's rules that you have to follow along with the legality. The same rules that apply for alcohol should apply for marijuana. You shouldn't be able to drive under the influence. You shouldn't be able to raise kids under the influence. You certainly shouldn't be able to sit on your couch and drink a half gallon of vodka while your kids run around and play blocks and bounce off the walls. Or in the next room sleeping. You know what I mean? I could see having a beer or two after work. And the kids are in bed, or a glass of wine with dinner or whatever, something like that. But many people do that. But there's a big difference between polishing all four bottles of wine in front of your kids and having a glass of wine with your dinner. Because, like I said, they learn what they see, and they're going to learn what they're allowed to get away with. Pretty soon, they're going to want to taste daddy's beer or daddy's whiskey or daddy's weed. So you just created a little drug dealer or doer because of your poor immature, non-adult adult choices. And back in the 80s, they called marijuana a gateway drug. They used to anyway. I don't know if that's changed, but you do one drug, you're going to want to try another one. So you could be leading your child at 5 down a road to fentanyl, heroin, pills, whatever. Well, because you couldn't step outside and smoke your blunt. You couldn't step outside and sit in your car, all four of you, get high, and then come back in. They might have smelled it on your clothes, but they wouldn't have known what you were doing. And again, children are smart. I mean, they're not stupid. But it just irks me that little kids are getting hurt like that. That's You don't do that. You don't feed a kid alcohol. My mother, I can remember my earliest memory, um, being hungry, going to the refrigerator, not a stick of butter in the refrigerator, finding two. Everybody's familiar with those champagne glasses that pull apart, the plastic ones. Well, my mother had two of them in the freezer with gin chilling in it. I drank both of them, and my size, I was probably 5 years old, and they were pretty much almost filled to the rim with gin. And having being little, I got tore up from the floor up. I was drunk. They found me wearing my mom's clothes, walking up the street drunk. That's the earliest I can earliest memory I can remember with my mother. Now she ran with a motorcycle gang back then, and it was nothing to see people fornicating on my couch, smoking pot in the house, people sleeping. We had an overhang garage porch roof. They used to sleep on top of there in the summer. This biker gang she used to roll with. When the house was too full of them, there was a lot of them. They would come to party at my mom's house. I could literally sit under the kitchen table, reach up and grab a shot off the kitchen table and drink it. So I mean, and the stories go on and on and on, but you get the point. So now I am anti the opposite, bizarro world. My mother did not care if we ate, slept, who she pushed us off on for a weekend, and it would take off for days. If it wasn't for my grandmom talking my aunt into taking me, I don't know what would have happened. Maybe two or three of my other sisters were given away too, literally given away to other people to raise. But yeah, we all came home. Not so much. I didn't come home to live with my mother, but I did for a little while. But I mean, um, that was after I think it was in my 20s or 30s. I stayed with her for a couple months, but we even still we came home. My older sisters to or my younger sisters, they're older than the younger ones. I mean, the oldest out of the sisters came home to meet my mom and get to know her, and find out why, ma. So, but they're on the steps again, eavesdropping. But by no means am I saying I'm better than anybody else. What I'm saying is I learned from my experiences, and I grew the fuck up. There's a certain maturity level that you have to reach, and the only way to do that, they even say drugs and alcohol stunt your maturity level, which I can believe. You stay clean for 20 years, you find different interests. I studied theology for almost 20 years, different aspects of it and stuff like that. But yeah, your maturity level comes up, your intellect starts to grow again. Even your creativity, like most artists will tell you, once they get off the weed and the drugs, they can think better, they can write better songs, they can, their creativity just, what I mean, comes to life again. Back in the 60s, they thought, oh, these drugs will open our minds and expand our minds and we can create this and create that. No, you're in a brain fog. You sound like, Silent Bob and What Jay or whatever, or Beavis and Butthead, and when you come out of the fog, and it takes a while. Uh, one psychologist told me it takes about 18 months for alcohol and drugs to get out of your system. Once that's out, then you can start the process of healing yourself, and your brain will come back to normal function, and yada yada. So that in and of itself, it takes a while to get a clear mind, so you can go, you know what, I feel better. Every day of my life is lousy, but I'm not drunk. I'm not broke. I have a TV. I didn't sell it for crack. You know what I mean? I'm not in jail. So in essence, it does get better, even though life does suck. And what you used to run to for the crutch was the alcohol or the drugs. When something bad would happen, you'd say, "Fuck it, I'm going to a bar." You know, today I go, "Fuck it, I'll just go to sleep, and tomorrow's going to be a better day." You wait a day, and if it doesn't get any better, then you wait another day. But I'll tell you this: my worst day here now in the past 20 years, which the past 20 years of my life has been, I've thought about suicide so many times I can't think about it anymore. It's ridiculous to me because I wouldn't do it. My religion forbids it, and also I'm too much of a coward to pull a trigger. So, on myself, I mean, I hate pain, but but even taking pills and going to sleep, to me that's cowardly. But it's not an option, in other words. But it's been that bad. That's what I'm trying to say. And I sit here thinking, oh my God, when's this life going to be over? I mean, it's just misery after misery after misery. My worst day here is better than the best day I had drinking or doing drugs. It wasn't worth it. None of it was worth it. That's what keeps me sane and sober, so to speak. Now, with that all said, I don't give a fuck what people thinks about me. I don't give a fuck about your comments. I could care less. I don't give a fuck about other people, what the hell they destroy their own lives, but you're not going to destroy mine. Not without a fight, not without an all out battle. What I did to get my drugs, I'm going to have to do to not do drugs. In other words, if I have to call the cops, here comes the cops. If I have to record you and show the landlord or the police or children and youth, guess what I'm going to do? I've had enough. Grow the fuck up or go somewhere else and do it. Pretty simple, isn't it? I'm not telling you you have to stop. Hey, you smoke truckloads of weed. Just do it somewhere else, or have enough common courtesy to not have me smell it. If I can't tell on something I can't see or smell, right? But if I can smell it, I know them kids can, and that's abuse. Just like summer's coming. If I smell that dog shit, here comes the SPCA. They are getting a visit from them. I don't give a fuck how much plastic lay down. I'm not smelling dog shit all summer. They better grow the fuck up and quit. See, they just got up off the step and started walking down the steps. It's a madhouse here. It really is. And that's why I'm doing these live streams. Oh, they're quiet now. You don't smell no weed smoke now, do you? And that's why they hate me the most because I'm in their way. I'm standing in their way. And that old saying, you got to stand for something or you fall for anything, is true. At some point in your life, you got to grow up and stand for something. Again, I'm not claiming to be better than anybody else. A little wiser, maybe, from experience, learning the hard way. I'm not saying I'm smarter than them. I'm just saying, through hard knocks, I go, oh, okay, you don't do that. Stick your hand in the fire, you get burnt. I get it. So I grew wiser through stupidity, lots of stupidity. So again, I'm not claiming I'm smarter than they are. I'm just saying I learned the hard way. I got a lot of scars, a lot of battle scars. But I'll be damned if I'm going to give up 1 inch of this place. I should. The landlord, by Pennsylvania state law, states that he is to provide a safe, clean environment here. It's neither safe nor clean. And I prove it every video I put out of here. So they can record me all they want on the steps. I'm vlogging into a, you know what I mean, live stream. That's not against the law. And I apologize for any foul language. It's not my intent. My intent was description, to describe. I do mark my videos not suitable for anybody under 18, so I hope nobody younger than that gets a hold of these videos. I'm not, again, that's not my intention. My intention is to create a blog and a playlist of the atrocities that go on, and the township lets it go on, the police let it go on, the landlords let it go on. It's ridiculous. Children and youth, they don't give a fuck. They, excuse my language again, they don't care. Then they wonder why prisons are filling up, because they let kids have kids that don't train their children the way they're supposed to be. I don't want your kid to be quiet. What I want you to do is show some respect. When it's bedtime, my bedtime, I don't want to hear your kids. You know what I mean? My bedtime is at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. No, they're up screaming till midnight. I have to wait until they go to bed to go to bed. That's ridiculous. And on and on and on. I could, I could keep babbling about it, but it's true. It's ridiculous. And then they get a cop in here to try to arrest me for what they're doing. Oh, they're not doing it now because the cop's here, listening, eavesdropping, or whatever. And that's prejudice. When you're investigating only one side of a story and you're not getting both sides, that's prejudice. And that's what they're doing. No cops knocked on my door asking me my side of the story. That's bias. Because I would point them right to my YouTube page and these live streams and these videos to show this is what's going on when you're not here. So don't let them kid you. Don't let them fool you. But you find corruption everywhere you go. In every organization, there's a shitload of corruption. From Facebook to the police station, there's corruption. Somebody will get a wild hair up their ass, don't like what you're saying or doing, and they'll block it or cut you or have you arrested, or yeah, it's ridiculous. Censor you or none of it makes any sense to me. We've got certain freedoms, freedom of the press. I'm the press. Anybody can be the press. You can have a format and report the news. That's all I'm doing. And you also have freedom of speech. But try that freedom of speech on Facebook. See what happens. So freedom of speech is not free. The fact checkers will, lie on you. So I don't know how many of these I'm going to run tonight. They're being pretty quiet tonight. And then the 2 times during the day here that I recorded, you can hear now in the background, it's dead quiet. So I see King Bob 1. Is that somebody watching me? Oh, hello, King Bob 1. I'm not trying to get comments here, so you'll have to excuse me, but I'm tired of this. I'm tired. I had to go out and buy a security system because of these people. They were literally congregating. If you go down my playlist on my YouTube page, you'll see what I'm talking about. Fist fights in the hallway, standing at my door with masks on sometimes no masks, talking about trying to rob me and break in. And I mean, it's ridiculous. You go to the landlord, you go to the police, you go to, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I've called children and youth a total of 1 time so far. I've called and left a message. I'm waiting for them to call me back. So I don't know if they're investigating or putting time, effort, and energy into it. I have no clue. They don't let you know what they're doing. Um, my main concern is the kids being raised in an atmosphere, bed bugs crawling all over them, parents smoking pot. If you got enough money for freaking weed 3 times a day, you got enough money to go out and buy them bunk beds, get them up off the dirty mattresses. That's my theory. So, thanks for stopping by. I wonder if this will zoom. Oh, yeah, we can zoom with this. That's my front yard right there. Where's my finger at? I can't even see. I am blind from diabetes, so you'll have to excuse me. Legally blind. There it is. That's my front yard. All the cars that park here that live in these buildings. Again, that's my side yard. That's going up the street. And it is a drug hangout. There's what they call in New York an Aki store, I guess you'd call it. I think Arabs or somebody owns it like that, or foreigners, I should say. I don't know what nationality they are. Um, and then there's a mosque. I forget what it used to be, but it's a mosque now. My church used to be down here where where are we at? Oh, too far. Oh, down here. Up too far. So there's a weed shop right here where them trash cans are right there. That used to be a church. That was my church. That's where I got married, met my wife, all that. So I'm familiar with the neighborhood. I used to live on this block. On the corner, though, I lived up on the corner. And now I moved into this section and all hell breaks loose. There's fentanyl, heroin, weed, you name it, going on. Seems like 24 hours a day, up and down the street. I should live stream but they're all recording anyway into a security system. I don't know if you can see the little red guy on them. See the red guy? That means they're recording. That one's recording. That one's recording. The little red running man there. Right there at the back of the car. So I'm on camera too. This is my kitchen. So that's my front door. That's the only door to get in my place. So it's showing my whereabouts. This is me. I'm pointing at myself right now. That's me sitting there. So that's my kitchen, me, my hallway. That's my hallway going to the front door. Then I have another camera under the door. That matter of fact, I can show you that. It's going to be dark, but I can show you. I have another camera that's hooked up to my computer that live streams 24. Again, it's going to be dark in here. This is my living room, bedroom. But that picks up everything from the front door all the way up to my door. That's the hallway. So if anybody comes up to my door, they are recorded. You can see it's recording. So yeah, everything it's said and done. That's the videos I captured underneath this live stream. Once this uploads, you'll see on my YouTube page of the insanity here. time I plug. Oh, what happened? Hold on, peeps. Gotta get ready. Where's my go? There it goes. All right. What we got? Slow charging. I don't care about that. I'm gonna pull it out. There you go. So yeah, I'm gonna end this and start another live one shortly here. Because I certainly don't want to be set up by a bunch of potheads and weirdos that just want to take over the building and tear it up. I mean, they've broken the front door 4 times. They've broken her apartment door 3 or 4 times, blasted right to it. I had a guy that delivered my kitchen table here. He was here delivering it, and he went to leave, and her and her boyfriend come busting through her front door. They busted it so many times it won't even lock. They have to open it and close it with a stick. I guess like a popsicle stick. They got to get it in there and like unlock it that way. I don't even know. It might be that she lost her keys too. I don't know, but they were out there screwing it. I have a video of them screwing her door back together the one day. I mean, that's insane. Who? That's not love. What's love got to do with it? That's why I call him Ike and Tina Turner. You know, Ike and Tina Turner's greatest hits. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. And now they have a dog that, when left unattended, barks incessantly. And of course, he's a very healthy dog. He's pooping 30 to 40 pounds of poop a day, I guess it looks like. They're dragging it out on sheets of plastic. So, like a tarp. So, I don't know. These people just crack me up. So, yeah, I'm probably going to need a Depakote, Ritalin, something soon. Seroquel, calm my ass down. Because they're driving the crazy bus. I'm just along for the ride. I don't know what's going on out here. Something kids are playing. And again, I don't mind kids. I don't want any of my own, that's for sure. But kids aren't the problem. When they act up, it's because of the parents. It's not the kids. It's what they're taught. So you get a nice, respectable kid. You know what I mean? I congratulate the parents for how well behaved and well mannered he is. You know what I mean? If you get a kid that's a monster, well, who do you got to thank? Exactly. So how do I stop this, people? Gotta figure out how to shut this one down. I don't see an off button. Hmm. I think this might be it. Let's see. Um, oh, let's chat. I'm not trying to chat. I'm trying to off the. To say. I have no idea. Huh, this is weird. How do I stop this? Well, I guess I'm going to try something. I'll shut it off if I have to, but there you go. Oh, maybe this. Resolution. That is not it. Oh, now I turn it around. How do we stop this video? Maybe that.